So we're here with the members of the crew of Baby Doll Ladies, post Mardi Gras 2025, episode 2. Let's get right into it, ladies. Inquiring minds. Okay. This Fat Tuesday 2025, there was a vicious political attack made against the Baby Doll Ladies by an ally of someone who is believed but has yet, as of the date of this interview, to confirm their candidacy for mayor. Can we speak to the takeaway from that experience, from that whole ordeal, and a little bit about your thoughts on the subject matter? Although we have live streamed with @ReggieArt about the topic, this is going to be our final mic drop where we address this matter formally. Okay, Ashley, you want to start?
I would like to say, I'm sorry, I am Ashley, aka Baby Doll Lady Cayenne. I want to start by saying that reading that article was very hurtful, first and foremost. We are usually a quiet group of women who, we do our thing, we entertain the people, we empower the women, we uplift the young girls. And so to hear or read the article stating those nasty and untrue facts about us, or narratives, that wasn't facts, it was just very hurtful. I don't think people realize that our group, our Mardi Gras crew, we are a walking parade. We're not a part of anyone else's crew or parade. But we have juniors that's in our crew. And usually our outfits kind of show the difference in divisions or units within our organization. But this year we wanted to look unison, we want to look as a group. And so maybe, I'm just going to go out on a limb, that they didn't realize that these are young girls. We have us grown women, yes, but we also have teenagers, and we have young collegiate women that are a part of our organization. So just to have them be a part of something so negative or mentioned in a negative way was very hurtful. And I think as a big sister, as a auntie, it was just very, very hurtful. And I definitely made an effort to check on them, just to make sure that they were okay, because to have them experience something like that, let's start there. We've never experienced anything like that. So to have them come along with us, thinking that we are doing something positive, we're doing something that we love, we're waking up all the people on Mardi Gras morning, the Queens of Mardi Gras are here. Wake up, it's Mardi Gras time. And to have that, to see on the next day when we thought that we were doing something amazing, keeping up our culture, keeping a tradition going, to have that all lies, without anyone reaching out to us to see, well, how did y'all do this and this and that? It was just plastered out there for people to see. It was very hurtful. The one thing I can say was very hurtful. But on the brighter side, I think it built our resilience. It made us exposed us to people who were not, aware of what we do or who we are. We had the opportunity, shout out to Reggie Art again, who had us on his social media platform to speak out and tell a little bit about ourselves. And I think more people are aware of us now. We have more people that are interested in what we have in our programs that we have, especially for the youth and the women in our communities. So it was hurtful, but it was also an opportunity for us to take those lemons and make some lemon drops, baby.
Yay. Well said. Just a little background or backdrop for the people. Can you frame that for us, Al, as to what the misconception or what the tension or misunderstanding in the local Black community was even about? Because some people may have not read the blog where these nasty, statements can come from. So you kind of frame for the viewers that might not be aware how this ensued and what was leading up to, all this taking place, given the weather, given the changes.
Right.
We all felt that, people were upset in general because a lot of changes were happening with the, the primary predominant black parade, which was Zulu. So to see us out there,
Right.
some people had some misunderstandings as to, well, how could we when they didn't?
Right.
So if you could frame that up for the viewer that might not be aware.
Yes. So my name is Al, also known as Baby Doll Lady Beauty Fly. And I have to say that somebody like myself who grew up so close to understanding a little bit the political climate of New Orleans, because my dad was a lawyer and he worked very closely with politicians, and he even had his own stint in running for certain offices. I found it interesting the way people chose to understand what was happening. And sometimes in our city, we have we're known for being a very passionate people, and as you know, sometimes when you are a passionate person, you don't always take out time to actually consider all the facts. So we have a lot of passionate people in our city. That's why the creative juices are always flowing in New Orleans. But when it comes to misunderstandings about policy, procedure, approvals, and government accommodation, licensure, etc., a lot of people do not have the understanding as to how those things work. And instead of more people asking questions, some people chose to believe what they had heard, which was hearsay and not factual, versus trying to actually find out how were y'all able to walk on Mardi Gras Day. And the fact of the matter is, our director is very hardworking, and she is sometimes very, very methodical when it comes to accomplishing something that's extremely admirable for any director, because I've dealt with a lot of leadership, and she is extremely good with communication. And that's not true for every leader that you will come across in this city. So because she has that on her side, because she have that character, that's why we was in the parade. Because she got on the phone and called and called and called, and text and text and text, and emailed and emailed and emailed, and delegated and delegated and delegated. And because we have a long-standing relationship of pushing through when it comes to Mardi Gras Day in this city, I mean, we've only been doing it for 10, 11 years, but the point is, as far as our own parade, our own. So the point is, there is a lot that goes into making sure that happens. Not just for any crew, but for a crew of all black women and girls. So there's a lot of diligence and push and really prayer, if we're being honest, that goes into making sure we hit the streets for what we worked for every season. And so if I had the chance to spread information to counteract what people were hearing, I would tell them, hey, we got out the mud just like anybody could have done had they been able to follow up and follow up and follow up like our director did.
Put the work in.
And I'm glad that people are now putting their eye on us to know, good, bad, and ugly, how are they doing it. Because if they keep watching and tuning in, then they'll continue to see. And they'll see that we're class act and we do it the right way.
And a lie can't live forever.
Okay. And we don't go around and take money, and we don't go around and
Right.
and do low down things to get where we need to be. We really do put in the work, and then we leave it up to God.
Yes.
Because
Well
we are God
said.
fearing women.
That's it.
Well
Yes.
said.
Pray before everything.
So on that note, even to expound or elaborate, again, just giving a little bit of background for the unaware viewer. What was this person making these allegations, and even other people who chose to take these allegations and run with it? What were they mad about? What was their perspective or perception? I'll say, because their optics, like you said, translated into something that was the farthest thing from the truth as to how we were able to still march Mardi Gras morning, in
Right.
spite of the threat of the weather, which I think
Real
at the
talk.
root of this whole thing, is having approval to come out, albeit our time had to be changed and pushed up so that we could steer clear of any severe weather threats, because safety is of the utmost importance first and foremost. But what was the perception you feel like? What do you feel like they were all, the tension and the anger was about? We know who it was directed at, but what was this about?
My name is Deviana, aka Baby the Lady Amaryllis. I think what people are really mad about is the fact that we were a marching crew that were out there before Zulu, but it's like we aren't a part of anything else. We're our own element. We put the work in. There's much things that people do not see in the background. Like I said, on the day of, we were on the call 5 p.m. right before we were trying to go to sleep. We were trying to get ourselves together. We were on this call trying to figure out what to do. Miss Melissa, she was in the background making the calls. We were just trying to figure out what's the best way to go about this. And we still pulled up. We pulled through. So I feel like it's in a place of they're not doing their own research. They like to make claims, without doing the proper research.
Or even giving the benefit of the doubt, because within that, amongst a lot of the lies that we either read or heard about, was the fact that statements were being made like, well, we broke the rules. I thought you said nobody could do this, and how they got to do that, and they were bribed, and you want to speak to that?
Yes. So I think that, a lot of what happened was just, from our perspective, just very demeaning to see the terminology and the words and how we were described. And I think when you think back to our tradition and knowing who we are, this has been since 1912, where women got on the streets and did their thing, independent of anyone else. So we carry on that tradition. So quite honestly, we could have had no one on the float. We were still going to.
I want to touch on that. I want to touch on that because, again, as previously mentioned, the catalyst for this negative rhetoric had come from an ally of a political figure that is, or has yet to even confirm that they are running for mayor. So in the backdrop of all of that, let's talk a little bit about what motivated this person to even want to go there, and that had a lot to do with who we had on display as our Grand Marshal. Yeah, let's speak to that.
So I think, unfortunately, whereas the article portrayed Helena Moreno as using us as pawns, I think the quite opposite happened. That this person chose to use us to create outrage without ever really speaking to us.
Correct.
So when you look at what happened,
clout chasing.
And who is Helena Moreno for the viewer that might not be aware?
Helena Moreno was our Grand Marshal this year. Just to be clear, we selected Helena Moreno before there was an announcement that she would be running for mayor.
Yes, thank you.
And when we select our Grand Marshals, we look at
not just your political framework, because we're not a political organization. We're
Right.
about service. So we're looking at people who help to serve the community, who back the arts, who support our initiatives. We don't align to
Thank
a
you.
political person.
Mhm.
We align to initiatives, and that's what we're about. So to have that thrown back at us in such a negative way was really disgusting, I would say. To use the work that we do, the work that we have partnered with Helena Moreno's office on, and throw it back as if it means nothing was really it was really disheartening to know that we put in this work, we put in the work to work with these organizations, since the summer. And then Mardi Gras for us was, this is our time to shine, but it's about so much more than just the parade to us. So I think that was the catalyst, that political backing. But it's important to remember, again, we are not a political organization. We are about support. We are about service to the community, particularly the Black community and African American young women.
Yeah,
That's right.
well said. And just to clarify, so the person who wrote the negative rhetoric in their blog is actually the opponent of our Grand Marshal, and that had a lot to do with the motivation as well, as far as the statements that were being made. Let's talk a little bit about just what, piggybacking off of what Alexia mentioned, as far as presenting us as though we are props without agency.
Okay, so when I,
Your name?
oh, I'm sorry, I'm Val, also known as BDL, Baby Doll Lady, Sugar Cookie. Okay, so I have in my family 4 Baby Doll Ladies, and one is a junior though, so 3 Baby Doll Ladies, 1 junior. And when I initially placed my oldest daughter 10, 11 years ago,
She was 15.
yes, she was the first junior. This was the organization that she chose to, of all the things that I had enrolled her and enforced upon her, chose to stick with, to the point where she influenced me to join, even though I had been asked. And so I think that opinions are like the end of a digestive system. Everybody has one.
Come on, educate.
And when I looked at, because when I received the link or the information, I looked to see, because we're about business. We are a business organization that also serves the community. We have documentation. We do research. We have documentaries. So I looked to see first who this person was. Like, who are you? Are you a part of the Lens? Are you a part-time Picayune? Like, what is this? Because it gave the perception of a research-based journal article or article that's newsworthy, especially the name. The name of the blog site is just a web page. Was a singular person, and when I looked them up through the Secretary of State's office, there was no business license. And so I said, well, who are they? And their name, ironically, was the same as this political person,
Who's the opponent of our
who's an
Grand Marshal.
opponent of the person that we had.
Right.
Even though they're not.
It feels like
Right.
eons ago requested to be our Grand Marshal, right? Before any political. So when I saw Helena Moreno years ago, she was the only person on the council that asked questions that were relevant to the community, the students, the public, right? And so she asked these questions, and whoever was in front of them talking to the council had to respond, because you can't ignore me if I'm voting on this. All of the other people, and so that is why I recognized her. And when it was brought up for her to be our Grand Marshal, I was like, absolutely. Because she actually asks questions. She wants people to be knowledgeable about the decisions. It doesn't matter how you vote, as long as you have the most information available that is poignant to whatever it is decision you're going to make. And she was a person who asked those questions, and so I was like, absolutely. So now, here we are on Mardi Gras Day, and we don't know if Mardi Gras Day is going to be canceled.
Right. First
Because
of all.
if it's going to be canceled, it's going to be canceled for everybody.
Right.
Pete Fontaine, Fountain, for us, for Zulu, everybody. Rex, nobody's marching on Mardi Gras Day if Mardi Gras Day is canceled. We're waiting for that information, because if we don't receive that word, then we're rolling.
Period. Right.
Now, what time are we rolling? Now, I'm going to tell you. we usually roll at the time that they had everybody else roll. That was our parade slot.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
And we
official
accommodated other people, if you want to ask
Correct.
me,
Mhm. We did.
to make sure that everybody got a chance to march if they wanted to march.
And we stopped our own so they could move flow.
And we did.
Sure
We
did.
stopped our parade
On the route.
at Claiborne, past Robert E. Lee Circle, whatever the name of the Harmony
Claiborne
was.
and St. Charles.
Before Lee Circle. Before Lee, to let them bring their floats off I-10.
Yeah.
And we posed, and lots of pictures are available in the media for the poses when we let Zulu pass. Because we are not anti-anybody.
No, we're not.
Right.
No, we're not.
We want to uplift everybody.
That's right.
Every black man was raised by a black female.
Come on.
Or a black man. Because if they black, they're black. 116. So anyway, yeah, no, that's the law. That's on the books. I had to look that up.
We in Louisiana,
So,
baby.
In the
right.
South, that's not
That's
just
funny.
Louisiana, that's the South. Even in Arkansas, it's up there. Okay, so I'm just saying, so to get your information, and we're educators. We are
Right. So many of them.
architects. You know, we work in architecture. We work in social work. We work in
Medical field.
healthcare. We work, and we're entrepreneurs,
In
right?
arts,
Right.
yes.
And we take time out of our busy schedules
That's
every year to start getting ready for Mardi Gras in October, November.
That's right.
So these things that we did on Mardi Gras Day, one day, every year we start practicing in
August.
October, November, but we
August.
do.
August,
August.
baby,
August.
Yeah.
No, August.
So I mean, like the hard. This is a
The master
Amazing.
performance.
yeah, the master. Okay, so
September.
master
Master
performance.
performance.
So Gallia Hall, October,
Just say the
November.
hard stuff.
Because the cadences, you
Heavy
know,
on the
cadences
Right.
are
This is
fun.
we do over summer. Okay.
Right.
Cadences
Yeah.
are
Hard stuff,
fun.
she said.
And also our mentoring program, our mentor-mentee program for our youth. Our Grand Marshal was about that. She
Yeah.
had
Right.
a series
Yeah.
over the past summer that our children got to attend. And even if they weren't baby doll ladies,
Right.
there were a bunch of youth, a diverse group of youth and women entrepreneurs present at these functions. If anybody had done their homework.
Right.
Before she declared, before she even thought about, because I don't think she declared until March.
She didn't. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
But we're doing this last summer. And she's inviting us to participate in Second Harvest and all these other things
Yeah.
as
So we can
we
feed children.
as we're there and we show up. And that's why we're in a lot of those
spaces.
The videos.
spots.
Mhm.
The spots.
Lists.
Because we were there and we were there empowering young people, empowering females, empowering entrepreneurs, empowering youth, just people,
Not tearing
And-
nobody down.
not
Exactly.
tearing a person
Because we
down.
don't have to.
just
We don't
trying
have
to
that
help.
to do.
We have so much. We have so many other things to do. We have children. We have
That's right.
jobs. We take care of other people's babies.
That's right.
So yeah, piggybacking off of that, let's speak to. You talked about the tradition, and a couple of you said the sacrifices that we make to get up and to represent the tradition, represent the culture for Black women, for all women, for youth, for young ladies. Let's speak a little bit about that as far as you're concerned. How important is that for us to show up in the face of adversity for the sake of the culture?
So my name is Miss Ricky, is affectionately known by my staff and students. I'm just gonna say I'm Miss Ricky, aka Baby Doll Lady Fun Size. So I'm gonna start by saying this: I felt disrespected when I saw the article, and the reason why I felt disrespected because the climate of this country for a Black woman right now, where we're supposed to be resting.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Right,
can't
damn
rest
right.
with this,
Oh my
right? And and sometimes I hate to say it, the phone call does come from inside the house. And this time it came from inside the house. So all I'm gonna say is this. Part of the problem that I think that people have is that for too long, people have always had the assumption that we were part of Zulu.
Yes.
We have never been a part of Zulu. Except the 2 years before I became a Baby Doll
2 or 3
Lady.
years, yeah.
2 or 3 years, okay. That's how I saw Baby Doll Ladies 2012 at the beginning of Zulu's parade. After becoming a member, and we did Macy's, and we came home and had our own parade. At any time, any baby doll group could have gone down to City Hall, like our creative director had done, after the parade and said, we want to have a parade officially recognized by the city of New Orleans because it had never been done over the 100-year culture of baby doll dancing and masking. At any time, anybody could have
Well, there
gone
were no
down.
other groups actually when we did
Right.
that. So
Say
let's
Right.
let the record show
Say
that
that
there
part.
That's
weren't
fine.
any other
There weren't.
Organized.
There weren't.
organized.
Right.
Organized.
They
And I think
There really
you're
weren't
right.
any
That's
other
right.
groups.
And I
You ate with
think
that one.
and I think no, for real.
Let's no,
And-
I really want
no,
to
for
clarify
real.
that because there may have been revelers, but there weren't.
But they weren't organized.
No,
They were never organized. And I think part of the problem is that NOSD, BDLs are very organized. And it's the reason, and there's a reason for their organization. Because what you're seeing right now is you're seeing what is called, we're deep in the resurrection. The resurrection has happened, which means baby doll culture has now come back. It's thriving in New Orleans like it's supposed to. It's supposed to have pockets of baby doll groups from neighborhoods creating their own because that's the tradition, that's history. What history does not dictate is that you are allowed to tear us down, to allow your light to shine. Because see, we don't do that over here. What we do over here is, see, we mind our business, and in the words of Kenya Moore, don't come for us unless we send for you, and we send for no one. Believe me, I send for people in my office every day, and trust me, we didn't send for you. So I'm going to say this. At any time, anyone could have gone down and did what this young lady did, Melissa White, within the 100 years of this tradition. She had the foresight to do it. And what people don't understand is Mardi Gras Day, what you see is not what happens behind the stage. You don't understand the call times.
Right.
You don't understand the organization. You don't understand the money it takes to invest in paint kits and airbrushes. And I'm telling you from my own experience, I'm on my 10th round of airbrushes to make sure I'm fully stocked. For real. For my whole team. As an artist with a degree in art, I'm telling you right now, it's an investment from the paint and everything else. So unless you are prepared to go into that level of and it is a level of sacrifice. Believe me, it's hard to go to work all day and have to go to practice during the week. It's hard to go to work all day and you host a practice at the same place you just left yesterday at 4 o'clock to come back for 9 o'clock in the morning. But when you're dedicated and you said, I'm giving you a safe space to come and do what you need to do, you're all in. And that's the thing. See, people don't understand the sacrifice what you have to give on the back end to look good on the front end. And if you're not prepared for that, you can't speak to us about any of that. You can't say anything to us. And I really wish to this one person, if you had just Googled
The simplicity of Google.
for free, you could have even pushed the button that says print screen, and you could have gone and understood. You could have gone to our website, because if you type in baby doll ladies, NOSDBabyDollLadies.com is going to come up. Even baby dolls, even New Orleans baby dolls. Any of those words that you tag, we will come up. You could have clicked on it, and you could have read about who we are.
Fun size.
Well, hold on, because I'm almost done. Wait, because I'm almost done. One thing we don't need to do, we don't need to put our name and who we are as a collective organization and as individuals behind somebody for political mess.
Right.
It's not what we're about.
Right.
We put our name behind people that's interested in making sure our kids eat.
No.
How about that? Now, you didn't talk about that in the article. Talk about that. How the governor block money for kids to eat in New Orleans, and somebody decided, Miss Moreno, that how about I'm gonna get together in a room full of people and see about making sure children in New Orleans eat. See, you didn't talk about that. Let's talk about that. And so if you're gonna talk about stuff, Google is your best friend. And that's it. I'm done. Thank you.
I was thinking, that maybe he did.
Or
And
maybe
this was just a political affront to
it's
get
an opportunity.
to
Because I'll say also, I wanted to
Or clicks and views.
Let's
Or
talk
clicks
about,
and views,
let's-
Melissa. Clicks and views,
let's talk
right?
about this as well. The fact that we have had other grand marshals prior to the fact that again people hadn't so, I guess, vocally noticed or mentioned anything about anybody being on our mini float until this year.
Right.
Until the fact that, well, maybe also I feel like the again the optics. Now we are on parade, on show, on display with without any, how I would say, I guess introduction for Zulu, who did not roll till hours later after us, and so all you really see is us. All that you see is us. So, but let's speak a little bit about our Grand Marshal today. We kind of covered that, but our Grand Marshal from other years, and the fact that, like, what is that? What do you think about that? The fact that it took this sort of incident, this scenario, for people to notice us at all, never mind the fact that, oh my, Moreno, they're in Moreno's parade,
Right.
like, she paid them to be in a parade for them. Like, yeah, can we speak to a little bit about that and educate the people on just even some of our Grand Marshals who we've selected before, and and how or why we've chosen who we've chosen to be our Grand Marshal.
Okay. I'm Brittany, aka Baby Doll Lady Chasse Me, and our organization it has a strong foundation in celebrating women. We've always celebrated women from different cultures, different background, different walks of life. And this is not our first time in selecting a Grand Marshal that serves some type of purpose in our local community. And so I'm honestly baffled that we were highlighted for something in a negative light when, of course, if you do your research, if you use Google, you can clearly see that there were prior Grand Marshals that were a part of our parade for Mardi Gras. And it's just very sad. And social media nowadays is very influential, and it's easy to click on an article or to select an app and get information off of it and think that it's the truth. And then people go and run with it.
I mean,
you have educators. We've had local artists who have been Grand Marshals. Our director one year was last year. Yeah, she was our Grand Marshal. And so I'm just really appalled that we were only highlighted for that one thing. It just doesn't make sense to me. So
the political
Fucking
shakedown, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about also some of the rhetoric with people who chose to take content from the erroneous blog and run with it. Some of the comments, read like, "Well, those are not even the real baby dolls." What do you say to that?
Again, I mean, it's just like, do your research, because they're so deep in the culture and know so much about the culture and is related to the culture. And it's like, but are you
part of the culture?
Are you part of the culture?
Let's talk about it.
Then even like on a personal level, born and raised in Dallas, Texas. I'm not even from New Orleans. We have family in Louisiana, but I'm not
Hey,
even.
look who holding down.
I'm
the
not
culture.
even from here. Been here 20 years.
Right.
But, like, now I'm learning about the culture. I want to be a part of the culture. Now I'm a culture bearer, and I'm upholding and, moving it forward.
Right.
And it's like for someone to be born and raised from New Orleans and have this, massive following. I don't know if it could have been paid. I don't know. Because, people pay for followers.
It could be bots. It could be robots. It could be bots.
Legit accounts. But, to have that and then just like, y'all ain't even real. Like I said, we 1912, baby, look us up. What do you mean? What are you saying? Like, for you to not even, and my thing is, how are we going to have a black woman, because one of the antics, how are you going to have a black woman bringing another black woman down? And that's just,
Right, one of the influencers who had taken this content from this other blogger and wanted to run with it.
Right.
And it's supposed to be so-called related to the culture.
Right. And it's like, here we are, like, you're totally against who we are and what we stand for. And we're not geishas. And you disrespected that culture by calling it.
Because to be
you're
honest,
calling,
you're right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, we're not geishas from another city or from another state. We're not paid by Moreno. And I was like, well, what was the check?
I was waiting for it too. I was waiting for the check too.
I was single like mama.
I was waiting for it.
I'm I want it.
There wasn't.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, we weren't paid. We're not geishas from any other town or country.
We're
or
not
anything
white
like
faces.
That. You know, and it's like, well, the other baby dolls ain't got white faces. They don't look like, because we not.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
We're not them.
We not
And-
one of them.
And then not only that,
And they not like us.
that's right. And then not only that,
Research.
that's it. If you would do your research, you would even see back in the day the ladies that would either put some satin mask over their faces that matched their outfits. They changed outfits. The thing about it is every doll group moved how they wanted to move. In other words, they had their own process. You cannot ding us and knock us because Aunt Marion Baptiste and Uncle Lionel
Right.
Baptiste said, you are the ones to carry on the culture. If you're going to be mad with somebody, then I suggest you get on your knees and you pray. And you ask Aunt Marion and Uncle Lionel to answer you. And to tell you where they had Melissa put artifacts. Now, once you get artifacts and heirlooms and you come and talk to me about whether or not we're real baby dolls or not, that's a mute point. Because if you look at history again, and a lot of y'all don't want to do it because all you fixated on is I'm the only one and you're not. History dictates in this culture, every community had a baby doll group if they so chose to, because they will battle who could come up with the best outfits and who could actually hire a band. That's tradition. So you cannot knock us because we paint our faces white. Why? Because we want to be associated with a porcelain doll. We have characters behind those monikers. That's how we roll as baby doll ladies. Now, how you roll is how you roll. That's why we don't come for you. We embrace and we accept everybody who you are. What the hate is about, I don't understand. But then I do understand. You're upset because we got the parade. Officially recognized by the city, but again, by the state, and we've had exhibits at the Presbyterian, the state level. When we go out of town, when people send for us, we represent New Orleans. We represent our home right
And well.
and very well, so no one can ever say that we misrepresent any part of our culture, our city, or our people, because we ride hard for our people. I'm from the Lower Ninth Ward, so one thing about it, I'm always ride for my city. And to be a part of a culture like this, that means I got a lot on my back, because my grandmother and the people in my family were those same kind of washerwomen and domestics that started this whole process. What y'all need to be proud of is how it has evolved to also include women that are now professional black women.
We have
Let's talk about-
to heal from that wound.
Right.
That New
That's
Orleans
it.
has a big wound. Like,
That's right.
people come from different cultures, different backgrounds, different cities, different states. They come to New Orleans and they're taking our culture. Sometimes they take it and they don't even show us any type of credit. They don't
That's
give us
right.
any type of love. Now,
That's right.
some do, but some don't.
That's
and
right.
I think we really need to get down to the source of the problem and heal that wound that we have, and stop attacking our local artists, our local performances, our own people in our own city and our own culture that are trying to continue things.
And innovate
We need
and
to stop
cultivate
it.
at the
And
same
you know
time.
what's great?
Stop doing that.
I'm glad you said that, because that's where I am with it as well.
Yeah.
And we're also,
It's
and you know,
frustrating.
it is very frustrating when you have someone
Tiring.
who is not from New Orleans.
Yeah.
You don't even know us. You don't even really know us.
Well, listen.
But you come into our city, you call yourself transplanting yourself, and you're learning about our culture. Okay? You can't speak to our culture. You need to come speak to us.
Let's talk about, you said the performance artist aspect of it as well. So also some rhetoric we may have heard, unfortunately probably not even for the first time. Oh, they just dance. Cayenne, you made a good point. Let's speak to that point about, they're not the real baby doll. They dance. They dance. What you got to say about to that?
When we talk about tradition and what this was all about, it started off as a dance competition.
Right.
Come on.
Right. The whole
That's it.
tradition.
It's the whole
It was all
tradition.
about a dance competition. It was the uptown dolls
Right.
versus the downtown dolls. And they met on Mardi Gras Day.
Come on.
Right.
And they had a dance competition.
Come on.
So what we're doing to continue that tradition we're dancing. Because we are the dancing dolls. Yes.
Right.
We're the dancing dolls, we're the masking dolls, we're the pretty dolls, we are the working dolls, we are the traveling dolls. Okay?
That part.
We are the New Orleans dolls.
Yes.
The New Orleans baby dolls.
Yes.
The baby doll ladies.
Since they want to talk about LLCs.
Yes.
Yes.
We have it all. You know, we have it all. So
Please don't forget the ladies.
that was
That part.
yes, that.
That part.
But that was hilarious to see. Oh, they're a dancing crew. But shouldn't
supposed
we
to.
all?
We supposed to dance.
What else do baby dolls
We
do?
all supposed to be dancing. If I
all
understood
dance.
correctly,
Come
that's
on.
Music.
Well,
my history tells me.
No.
but I know what it is though, Kanye. You know what it is? We kick and turn and split too much. That's what it is.
A little too technical.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, we
it
took
was,
technical.
that's why I didn't join initially because I was like, oh my God. I was dance trained.
Right.
My daughters
Right.
are dance trained. I am not, but I'm
Yeah.
New Orleans trained.
Right.
Yes.
That's all that
And we
matters.
talked about that also in episode 1. People inquiring minds from that episode wanted to know, well, do you have to be a dancer to be a baby doll lady? And we did
Absolutely
address
not.
that
No.
that we meet the you know,
Right.
I think the bottom line and the common ground is having an appreciation for the arts, and we
That's
meet you
right.
where you are, and there are other units that you can dedicate, you know, yourselves to, and you know, we look to also serve, you know, to see how we can uplift or enhance whatever other talents the individual may have as well. So make sure y'all check out episode 1.
That's
So
right.
we're not
Say
gonna
one thing.
regurgitate.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Well,
right.
we already say.
For any inquiring doll, you know, people that would like to participate, I want to say that for the year of 2025, our oldest baby doll lady member / dancer
Yeah. Speak
work
on it.
club
Speak on it.
Yes,
was
she did.
60 years
That's right.
old.
Is.
Yep.
Right.
My
Is.
Is.
60.
Is.
Yeah.
So after this, go look at the
60.
master performance.
Nah.
That's also
Our
posted.
youngest doll were
Right.
juniors in high school, 15 years old.
That's right.
Yeah.
15. We have a variety of
Yes.
age. We do not discriminate.
Oh,
We don't.
We have a place and we create spaces
Right.
for anybody who's interested in continuing the culture, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Wow, right.
We are culture bearers, the original
No.
Yeah.
culture bearers, because shout out to Melissa, that word would have not even been
That's
as
right.
popular as it is
Come
if
on.
it
No,
was not
that's
for that
right.
scholarly
Yeah.
lady.
That's
okay? But we have a variety. We have a variety of ages. We welcome anybody. And there's a space for you. There's a place
That's
for you. And we want you to feel welcome. We want you to feel, you know, like you belong. And so I'm kind of going back to the first episode, but yeah, no, it's you don't have to be this grand dancer, you know. We you might need to have a little footwork, but other than that, like, because we all always New Orleans all the time, but
we take it from where you are. We just take
yes,
it from where
yes,
you are. We take
where
it from
you
where
are.
you
We
are.
meet you where you're at.
A little bit about the theme this year. We chose Queens of Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Tell me what that means to you, Queens of Mardi Gras.
Ooh, man. You know, when I first realized that we were like really running with that, I almost felt like, ooh, we finna make
Shaking the
we
table.
shaking the table with this one. We finna make some neck snap and heads roll with this
You
one.
flipped it over like Teresa, baby.
The more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, it's fitting. It's very fitting because we really raised a platform. We really empowered a demographic in this city. We really brought attention and brought light to something that was fading. We really restored. We really renovated
Resurrected.
we really resurrected.
That's right.
We really breathed life into this thing. And not to say somebody else wasn't going to or couldn't have or wouldn't have, but we did. We the ones who did. And you know, we don't have to rub that in anybody's faces, and we haven't.
Mm-hmm.
But
Love Al.
like Shasay Me said, like my sister Brittany said, we have a problem in the black community in New Orleans of not giving credit. And, you know, hopefully we get to a place in this city, and regardless of who else jumps on, we're going to start giving credit to ourselves.
That's right.
We the queens of Mardi Gras because we resurrected this.
Yes.
And we the queens of Mardi Gras because we upholding something that has been for over a century. We the queens of Mardi Gras because we come out and showcase a vast network of talent that would not otherwise be represented on the global stage
Yeah.
that it has been. We did that.
Right.
And we not sorry to anybody else.
Unapologetic.
Unapologetic.
And, you know, much success to y'all, but that's why we the queens of Mardi Gras.
Right. Yeah, and also speaking of the fact, also some people may not be aware that the tradition of doll masquerading is noted. Is scholarly research notes that doll masquerading is the first street masking practice in the United States, in the nation. And so Queens of Mardi Gras also had another double entendre as far as we were concerned, as far as
Because it was a historical.
it's also
aspect.
reclaiming.
That's right.
Exactly.
Right.
But what these ladies did
Right.
for us, they walked and crawled so we could run
Yeah.
Say that.
So we can
and kick and leap.
So we could dance.
Yeah.
And we invited the other queen.
Right, let's talk
Yeah, you know,
about
right, you know.
let's talk about
Our gala.
Yes.
Our soiree. We invited the other queens, and they came.
Of the cruise.
And
yes.
because of the other crews.
Right.
Queens.
Yeah.
So
Of
how,
the cruise.
what was your experience like with that, Deb? With the soiree, and what did you think about like the theme again, running with that theme, Queens of Mardi Gras, and yeah, talk a little bit about that.
Personally, I felt it was very empowering because, like, when we had everybody speaking, Helena Moreno, all of the queens, we had the toast. It was so beautiful because it was like, you know, they like to talk about how we are not for the community, but we had
Right, representation
Yeah,
from
yeah,
other
community,
crews,
yeah.
That's right.
queens from other
Queens
crews
there.
present.
That's
we
right.
representing.
We represented.
And I just think it's very important for us to, you know, showcase that.
Yeah.
And,
And
you know,
in
show
that
up for
moment,
our
it was so
community.
empowering just to be in a room full of queens of their own
Yes.
crews.
Right.
And to be there and not to see them on a float, but
Right.
to have them in real time in front of you so you can shake a hand and say how you're
Right.
doing. And knowing that these women are just regular, down to earth women who are a queen of a crew for this year. It was just empowering on a whole different level.
And guess what?
happy.
I was about to say
Yes.
they was happy to be there.
They looked beautiful.
And they were so happy to fellowship with us and just to be in the same room with us. And we were happy to be with them.
Yep.
And they loved the theme. They were like, "Oh, about time somebody did it."
And
Like,
baby, they look fabulous.
and they look phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that's the essence of a real queen.
No.
A real queen walks in grace. She's
Mhm.
polite. She's confident. She knows her worth. She knows who she is, and she owns it.
Yeah.
And she never places herself or looks down on other people. And if you find anybody walking around in any part of life calling themselves a queen and they're ugly or they look down on others or they're, you know, negative any type of way, that's not representing a queen. And as you can see, I mean, the character speaks for itself. We're not here saying, oh, we're better than y'all and all the other
Thank
baby
you.
dolls. No, we love all of y'all. We
That's
want
right.
to, if anything, we wish we could have a big community of us
Absolutely.
gathering and coming
Right.
together. We did it for our soiree. So meet us outside.
On
What
a
you
good
say,
note.
Cayenne? What you say, Cayenne? 'Cause also-
It's all about respect.
Yeah.
It's
That's
really
right.
about
Yes.
respecting each other, empowering each other.
That's right.
And I just wanted to throw this in real quick about the parade. Queens of Mardi Gras, we're literally the only all women masking crew, walking crew on Mardi Gras Day that parades on Mardi Gras Day.
That's right.
So it wasn't, for me, a shade to anybody, because you have queens for every, this situation.
Right.
We have is Athena all female?
Yes.
We have
Or
Femme
Femme
Fatale
Fatale.
all female.
Yeah.
Muses.
Yeah.
But we're
What's next?
Mardi Gras Day.
We are Mardi Gras Day.
They have huge, beautiful parades. You know,
Right.
Super Cruise.
super crews. They're beautiful women, all working
And we
women.
know these people.
And we know
go
these
support
women.
them
We
in their
work
parades.
alongside
Yes,
these
right.
people.
I
They're
know, I
our
know.
family and friends.
We love to see them out the street.
But we are the only all women masking crew on Mardi Gras Day. So that is where the title for me came from, because we are a representation.
Yes.
How many all black women organizations do you see that's able to be out for everyone? And when we get to Gallia Hall and we perform, that is a proud statement to show that we are representing you. When we see those little girls on the side of the roads, or or the women dancing on the side of the roads, we make sure that we acknowledge y'all, we dance with y'all, we bring y'all into our circle and dance with y'all.
That's right.
Because we are literally representing you. It's never disrespect. It's all love.
Right.
And I think that was probably like the most thing that I was trying to get across in some of our like back and forth with some of the naysayers or just uninformed. Is that it's all respect. It's all about respect. It's all about representation.
right.
It's all about empowering one another. And Queens of Mardi Gras, baby,
I know
we're
that.
here every year in the morning
Yeah.
when you're waking up. You got pee fountain first. But you're waking up with the Queens of Mardi Gras.
And just want to say, it's the representation for me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
what Queens of Mardi Gras about. That's why we on the route. It's the representation.
Yeah.
And if you've ever worn a crown, that thing is heavy. I say it in the,
Heavy
I
is the
say it
head
in
that
one of the
wears the
clips.
crown.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown, because you have so much to do behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You have to make sure all your people are doing what they're supposed to do in front of the scenes. And then that transition between the two with the communication is so heavy.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Just a lot. Yeah.
But I think we did it gracefully.
Near the south side.
Yeah.
Near the south
So
side.
to round this
Respectfully.
out, let's go around and give me your thoughts, one word, one phrase, sentence description of how you see us or how you see yourself within the organization, either or both, for years to come, and or even, let's talk about it, 50 to 100 years from now.
Resilient, still here.
Let's go around. Go ahead. Resilient, still here.
Resilient, still here.
Britt?
Oh my God, I have so many words.
Pick your favorite.
Like-
Pick your favorite.
A
strong-
phrase, yeah.
Leaving a strong legacy.
Yeah.
Very
legacy.
impactful
Mhm.
legacy. Yeah.
I would say, that's hard just to
Yeah.
into one word.
Yeah.
Or your phrase. It could be a phrase. It could be your thoughts, just in general.
I don't know. Skip me on that one.
All right.
I gotta come back on that one.
I would say I see us growing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Growth.
Definitely growth. I see us being blessed
Mm-hmm.
for certain and making an impact.
Yeah.
That's right.
That is like the biggest thing. My 3 words.
What I think of most is too legit to quit.
Too legit. Too legit to quit.
From a former junior, now
Yes, our
collegiate
junior
member.
now.
Right. Speak to that in the future of the Baby Doll Ladies.
This is something I always say, but we show up and we show out.
Okay, and do.
She was raised right.
Continue
You
to
raised her right. You raised her
Show
right.
up and show out.
We raised her right. Mhm.
I did not say my name earlier. I am Alexia, Baby Doll Lady Gree.
Come on, Gree.
I make magic happen. And I would have to say that mine is a phrase. I would have to say that we are protecting the legacy of the past.
Yes.
In our current state, we are
Just brought up a whole
representing.
nother topic I want
We
to talk about.
are representing our culture, and then we are also protecting our future.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
you know, we have
Gatekeepers.
we are gatekeepers.
Yeah.
We have many baby dolls coming behind
Yeah.
us.
That's right.
We have a whole new
Yes.
generation that we are representing for. We have our children, our nieces,
Yes.
our
Yeah,
all of that.
that's true.
And so we have to make sure we are creating something that is sustainable for them, especially in this climate
That's right.
where
Yes.
people would have us not talk about Black history. I know
That's
that's
right.
more than a phrase, where people would have us not
No.
talk
But
about
we are Black history.
our not talk
That's
about,
so
people
real.
want to erase
That's so
the
real.
contributions of African Americans,
My
literally
goodness.
erase them from
But they
textbooks.
can't.
It is on us. It's incumbent upon us to
Right.
make sure we
Right.
teach our kids, we teach our generation, and we preserve that for the next generation. Because if we don't,
Then
who will?
Come
Right.
on now.
Yeah. You better
I think that's a wonderful note
Yeah.
Going to church
Oh.
for us to. We can come on now.
But
Come
you
on
say
now.
have
I'm ready now. I'm ready
You say
now.
have it.
Okay, no.
And I was like, I forgot my name too. I was just talking. I just talked. But Erica, baby doll lady, Lavender Dreams,
Come on, Sarah.
and and I just think about making dreams come true.
Yes.
And not just putting that
Come on, Lavender
spin from
Dreams.
my moniker, but it's just like, how we all bring something to the table.
Yeah.
How we
Yeah.
all have our own special entities in this, and carrying on, holding the torch,
Yeah.
and making sure that flame is still
Right.
blowing,
Right.
blazing,
Well said. Right.
when people are trying to.
Yeah.
And I got my light in my pocket. I'm like, sound like Lil Wayne. We hear that click, we already know what time it
That's
is,
right.
and it's like
That's
we
right.
making sure that this is keeping going.
Okay.
This is keeping going.
So, just thinking about all that, I was thinking, so still serving the community
Mhm.
and mentoring
Yeah.
and empowering our youth,
That's
right?
right.
But
Yes.
also, we work hard, but we play hard.
Yeah.
And so it's, I just needed, that's what I see. I
The
see it's
camaraderie.
you
Yeah.
have to work hard, but then we play hard on Mardi Gras Day.
Yes.
Right? That's our play day. The
Yeah.
rest of it is hard work.
Yeah.
Serving the community and empowering our youth.
Yeah.
And let me just say, y'all, before we end this thing off, that not to say anybody else doesn't have unity in their group, but oh my God, the real sisters I have in this room.
Better not
The
mess
real
with her.
sisters I have when I
She threw her head up his home.
Yeah, we serious.
Fold a chest.
Dear
I'm gonna pull the big.
We check in on each other. We're really a part of each other's lives
Yes,
in a
true.
real way. In our thoughts and our prayers, we are with each other as families.
That's
So,
right.
just want to say that.
One more thing to say. I just want to thank my director, Miss Melissa
Yes.
White,
Yes.
for giving all of us, but speaking on my own experience, a person who had so many different talents and no space to express it, an introvert, a person who's really shy, but a completely different character when I get to do what I love. I just want to thank you for allowing us to be here
Thank
and
you.
doing what you
Thank
do.
you. Y'all inspire me.
Yes, for the ride.
Yeah.